All right, we should be live and direct. Give me a minute, guys. I'm gonna jump over here, make sure that we're streaming like we're supposed to be on our different platforms. And then we're gonna get to talking, man. Got some new stuff I'm gonna be talking to you guys about. Um, Going in a new direction on some things. Let me test something out here. All right, so looks like we should be good. Yeah, looks like we should be good. So what's up? What's up? How's everybody doing? This your man Orville J. Parker, aka Coach. Guys, welcome to today's broadcast, man. Today's show. All right, guys, I got something I want to chop up with you guys about. Got some things I want to chop it up about. Um, One of the things you're gonna notice on my profile, if you go to my profile, if you go to orvillejparker.com, you go to my Facebook profile, you're going to start seeing that I'm putting a variety of content up, around different things. And I'm showing you guys some of the things that I'm doing to generate money, as far as different information products that I've been selling. I have a $900 product that I market called the Legacy Builder Program in a digital growth community, where it's a one-time fee. You're not paying 30, 40, 50,000 to start a business. I show you $900 how to go get two things: how to get education on how to build out a presence online, how to create content, and then how to monetize your content. Similar to what I'm doing with the different things. But then also it's a business in a box, where the way we got things set up, once you invest into the program and the platform, you get a reseller's license, where you can go out and you can make 100% profit off of reselling the course and the actual community, which is a very powerful business model, because every time you make a sale, you earn $900 in profit. So if you haven't had a chance to check that out, go to the link that's going to be in this video, and that's over at learndigitaltoday.com, and check out what I'm doing over there. All right. So now, man, now we live in very interesting times, man. Very, very interesting times. There's a lot going on in the world with a lot of different things. But the big thing that I'm seeing in the world is what we call uncertainty, right? On one hand, you could have certainty as far as things you can control, but then things you can't control, then you look at it, you say, wow, I don't know too much about that. Now, one of the things that I want to do with you guys, man, I want to start taking my conversation on my videos and talking to you guys about different strategies that I'm doing, different strategies that I'm researching, things that I'm trying, in order to see if I can grab hold of this uncertainty and build out some systems and some strategies for my family that allow us to be more in control of our reality. And so we're getting ready to get off into some really, really cool things, guys, on survival, on preparedness, on how to start thinking like modern day entrepreneurs, to where we are untethering ourselves from the system, in a sense. Now, one thing I'm not going to do on here when I talk about this, we're not going to talk about religion, and we're not going to talk about politics. Everything that we're going to talk about is going to be pure preparedness, pure survival, pure removing yourself from the matrix, not because of any political things, not because of any religious things, just because of the uncertainty of how the world works and life works. I got some exciting things coming for you guys, and I got a lot coming for you guys. But one of the things I got coming down the pipeline is that I have a resource for those who are freedom minded, for those who are looking to become independent and to take control of their reality, right? And for you out there who've always wanted and knew that you needed to get things together when it came to preparedness. You know, when you think about a lot of us, man, if we lost our jobs, we couldn't survive. We couldn't survive. If the grid was to go down, the electric grid, if that was to go down, a lot of us couldn't survive. Why? Because we haven't done anything in preparation for something like that. If there was a shortage of food, if there was a shortage of water, all right, God forbid if war broke out around the world, or let's say, for instance, some natural disaster, let's say an earthquake or something like that, a lot of us wouldn't survive. Why? Because we haven't taken the time to prepare. When you think about it, you think about our forefathers back in the old days, they were built different. They did things different. They were really self-sufficient and self-reliant. They all ran some type of cottage business. They ran their own businesses, so they didn't have to go out and look for jobs. They had a skill set that they monetized and took to the marketplace. They raised their own food. They chopped their own wood. A lot of them was very inclined medically to do the basics, medical things to keep themselves alive. A lot of them knew how to hunt. They knew how to clean their meat. They knew how to dress their meat. And a lot of these skills, man, we have lost over the years. We have lost them over the years. Now, with that stated, I've been following this kind of stuff, for at least 30 something years. And I've seen a shift in how people look at this about 20 years ago. And really, it really started taking hold about 10 years ago, where more people than ever now are trying to acquire the skills that we've forgotten, the skills that we got away from, and they're also preparing. All right, give me a minute, guys. I'm gonna pause this for a minute. Okay, give me a minute. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Sorry about that. Hope you guys can hear me. But yeah, over the last 10 years, man, I've seen a lot of people start waking up, and a lot of people have been working very hard on getting things prepared. Whether that's going out and making sure they acquire skills that's going to allow them to be able to survive and thrive if SHTF happen. You know what that acronym means. They've put food up. They've learned how to can. Some people have went so far to learn how to garden. Some people bought land, started creating homesteads, started teaching themselves how to farm, how to raise livestock, how to slaughter livestock. A lot of people have jumped back into the old skills, learning how to do woodworking, how to work with leather, metals, different things like that. A lot of people have jumped off into studying um, um, things such as natural remedies, herbs, things like that. A lot of people, man, have started prepping. I think prepping is very, very key right now. We used to always, everybody used to watch the show Doomsday Preppers, and we used to look at them jokers, man, and be like, man, them people look, yeah, they look very intense. And I remember I used to look at them, man, and I used to think about how much money they were spending, and I was like, man, they spending all that money on things that might not never happen. But you know what? When you look at the world today, when you look at the world we live in today, those people that we used to watch on those shows, man, they make a lot of sense right now. They make a lot of sense because now we live in such a world of uncertainty. We don't know. We don't know from the time we get up what's going to happen. And when you really think about it, man, inside of the world we live in right now, it's a very volatile world. Our peace is volatile. Our financial reality is volatile. Okay, we are faced with so many challenges today that can literally disrupt our lives. And if we're not forward thinking, it can literally destroy our lives if something happens. I was thinking about this the other day. We live on the New Madrid fault line here in the Midwest. All right, we live in that New Madrid fault line, and it runs through a lot of different things. And I remember when I was young, they used to always tell us, they used to be like, man, if they have that big quake, man, people gonna be, yeah, it's gonna be bad for people that live in the Midwest. And this is something I always thought about. I always thought about. I remember telling my wife one time, I say, man, I said, we live on the fault line here. When you go to the coast, they dealing with different things. Like, they said things about California. If there was a big quake happened there, California would drift off from the United States. And when you go to Florida, you have hurricanes and things like that. And you have some natural potential natural disaster around anything and everything. So you can't get away from it. But the thing that I think you can do, I think, is prepare. And I think that wisdom requires us to prepare. And now when I look back on all these people I used to watch prepping and getting prepared, and they was buying things such as MREs, they were putting water up, food up, building pantries and things like that. Now I look at them and I say, man, these people were so wise, so smart, because they took the time back then to start building. So a lot of those people now, man, they're ready. They're ready for anything and everything. And that's one of the things I want to start sharing with you guys on here is I want to start talking to you guys and sharing with you just some different strategies. And I'm going to talk to you guys here in a minute about a resource that I'm putting together that's going to allow you to kind of jumpstart yourself for getting this going. Hold on. Testing, testing, testing. One, two. Had to make sure my mic was back on. No, but I'm putting the resource together, guys. One of the things I like to do, I like to go out and do the research, figure everything out for you guys, and bring it back to you. And then I am a capitalist, so I want to get paid off my research. And so what I did was I have a really, 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 really cool thing that I'm putting together, and it's going to be a collection of a lot of manuals and books and just training and just instructions on a lot of different things when it comes to preparedness and survival. And it's I'm talking about you're talking about gigs and gigs and gigs worth of information. And a lot of this information, guys, to be honest with you, you have enough information that's going to be on this resource that you can literally jumpstart a society back if things were to go down. Now, what I'm doing is I'm putting all this together and all these survival manuals that's going to teach you everything from how to go out there hunt, how to clean your meats and stuff, how to farm, how to build shelters, how to purify water, talk about fire farming, off to everything and anything that you're going to need to survive on. And we've been doing research, and actually, I started this research years ago. And so some of these items inside of this resource go way back to pre 2000, almost 30 years ago. And over the years, I've just been collecting and collecting and collecting. But we're going to be putting this resource together, and we're going to make it available to you guys on a thumb drive. And right now, I'm still working on the price of it. I think right now it's going to be right at $100, and then you're going to pay $10 a month, and you're going to get access to a community. All right, so you pay $100 initially for the thumb drive, which is going to have, man. I mean, I think it's a lot of gigs, guys. It's a lot of gigs. I think it's going to be, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. You're going to have everything that you need there to get started with. Full library, and then you're going to get access to the community. And inside the community, what you're going to be paying for the $10 a month for is to have a place, a safe place for you to be able to go talk with other like-minded individuals to build, to learn, to train, to share, and to talk about what it is that you're trying to do. You'll be able to get help. You'll be able to have people to hold you accountable, things like that. And then we're going to be, whenever we come across new information, we're going to add it to the group, and you could just download it there and you could add it to your thumb drive. But then also in the school group, I've been out just really digging, man. So I've curated some of the best YouTube channels, some of the best videos and blogs out there for you guys to tap into to continue learning how to be prepared and to be free out there. So you won't even have to go out there and worry about looking, guys. We're going to have it for you. And also, as I always do with most of my products in my communities, I'm putting together some resources. So we talk about software and apps that you guys are going to be able to use. That's going to help you doing what you're doing. Like, I'm going to give you an idea of a couple of things that I'm working on. You know how you hear about AI out here, like in Chat GPT. Well, I have a way for you guys to have your own AI that you're going to be able to put on a thumb drive. All right, a thumb drive, just as powerful as a Chat GPT, but it's going to be detethered and not connected to the internet. So anything that you talk about with or anything that you ask it, it doesn't load back up to the internet. It only exists on your thumb drive. And so this AI would be like having your own pocket expert in your pocket, right? And so I got that coming for you guys. So I'm gonna show you guys how to take and create your own AI and put it on a thumb drive. So in a shit hit the fan scenario, you can have that AI even if there is no electricity, right? Your AI will be able to operate because yeah, I'm gonna show you guys how to do all that. All right, but another thing that I'm showing you guys to do is literally how to download what you would consider. Did you guys know that Wikipedia gives you the option to download the whole Wikipedia? I've been in doing some research. We can pretty much figure this out. And so inside of our community, we're going to be showing you how to go in and do this also too. And so when you get done, man, you're going to have enough manuals and guides on that thumb drive that's going to teach you anything and everything about what you need. We have thousands and thousands of books and manuals that's been collected and harvested and added to that thumb drive. But then inside the community, you're going to get access to that support system in that community, but then also a ton of other information and training that's created by some of the best minds out there in survival and preparedness. And then what the whole thing with the community is that we want you to start learning and start doing and then start sharing that with a group of like-minded individuals and then start building. Okay? So I'm excited about that. So in the world today, man, in the world today, I believe, we have to be wise. And when I look around in the world today, guys, I am very concerned about my family. I'm very concerned about what would happen if things did collapse, something did go wrong. And so, me personally, man, I'm sitting here and I'm working on building out things as fast as I can. For all of us who haven't been wise and we didn't prepare and we didn't get things ready, now we got to play catch up. All right, now we got to get in and play catch up. And let me show you guys, like, kind of like what I'm working on. Hold on 1 minute. All right, guys. So, what I did yesterday was I got with Vic, my AI assistant, and me and him started working through some of the mission critical things that a new, I want to call, let's call ourselves preppers, that a new prepper would need to do in order to just have a chance, and I'm gonna kind of show you guys what I'm talking about. So if there was something to happen, like say like a major earthquake was to happen in my area, or let's say war breaks out, let's say anything. If something was to happen, one of the things that you're gonna have to decide on for your family is, or you're going if something major was to happen, where there was some type of collapse or some type of disruption, or are you going to stay in place? Or are you going to stay where you at and ride it out? Or are you going to try to get away from where you at to ride it out? Now, if you're going to stay where you at, let's say, for instance, that the grid goes down. Something happens that the electrical grid goes down. There's no electricity no more, and you can't get any up. All right. Um, or let's say that there is a financial collapse. You wake up one day and all the banks then crashed, and you can't go get no money out the bank no more. Or God forbid, let's say we wake up and there's war break out, a global war breaks out. All right. What are you going to do? And what are your family going to do? All right. Or are you going to try to stay where you live and hold up there? Or are you going to try to get out of where you live and what they're in to somewhere that you feel is safer? Now, if you're in a urban area or a highly populated area, what you're going to have to worry about is the numbers. See, if you go 3, 4, 5 days without electricity in dead winter, or let's say, for instance, you go 3 days and the food supply is out, or let's say, God forbids, something happens where war breaks out, or you're going to want to be around thousands and hundreds of thousands in urban areas, millions of people. What do you think will happen to your local society if they could no longer eat? What would happen if there was no heat? All right, and that's something that you have to think about. How long do you think it would take for bands of people to start getting together and start preying on other people? How long do you think it would take for somebody to say, "Okay, well, look, let's go down to let's go down to Orville's house to see what he's done put up and he done prepped on, and to come take it." You know, what do you think would happen with the criminal element if there was a major disruption? You know, we're talking about lawlessness. These are things that you have to ask yourself. And what you have to ask yourself, if you and your family decide to stay where you at, do you have the ability to protect your family? All right. Do you have the ability to be able to feed your family? Do you have the ability to be able to keep your family warm if there's no electricity in the middle of the winter and no gas? All right. And do you have the ability to deal with that on a day by day basis? And if not, then what are your plans? So with those questions in mind, a lot of people have created what we call contingency plans if something was to happen. And there's a lot of people that's decided that if something was to majorly happen, some type of natural, say like an earthquake, or war breaks out, or a financial collapse, or our electric grid goes down, they are out of there. All right, and we call it bug out. All right, we call it bugging out. They're out of there, and some people have planned this to the T, to where they have plans. They put it in place with their families. You know, they have food and they have gear that they have put up. It's called bug out bags, and they have vehicles and they have a plan. They've went over this with their spouses, with their kids. Everybody knows what to do if something happens and where to meet it. And that whole rendezvous thing is to get everybody together, get all their food, their preps, their arsenals, like if they have firearms and things like that to protect themselves, get it into a vehicle, and then get the heck out of where they're at. And a lot of people have already put in place what they call a bug out location, a place for them to get to if things hit the fan, to get them away from the heavily populated areas so they can have a chance at surviving. But then once they get there, a lot of people have already worked out, they've been training and everything on how to survive and thrive, how to protect themselves, how to hunt, how they're going to eat, and how to do everything. And if you haven't done this yet, man, and you look at today's world, man, you're way behind. You're very vulnerable. And to be honest with you, man, when you get up now, it's like again that uncertainty is crazy. Like, I used to focus on and I was focusing heavily on figuring out ways that I can keep trying to stay independent of a job, right? Making my own money. And I was sitting here over the past 4 months, man, and I was like, okay, that's all right to figure that out. But that's not the biggest problem that you're facing. The biggest problem that we're facing is that we live in a very uncertain and a very dangerous world. And if SHTF happens, all right, that money issue, that's not gonna matter, man. What you need to be doing right now is figuring out how to get prepared. Okay, figuring out how to get prepared. And so one of the things I've been working on for my family is that putting together this whole bug out thing. You guys, I don't know if you can see it here. All right. So what I did was, and guys, AI will help you do this. So I got with Vic, and I say, Vic, I say, look, I say I want to put together a framework and a plan for somebody bugging out. That I told him the size of the family. He asked me, I want to take the dogs along, and then he asked me how long did I think that I was going to be on the road. And the whole ideal of a bug out is to get you from where you're at to where you're trying to go. All right. And so by doing that, we did that. And then we went in and we created a plan and a list of items that me and my family would need to successfully bug out if we wanted to get away from where we're at. All right. And then we broke it down to cost and where to buy it at and things like that. And so now I got this shopping list that I'm taking to the stores and Amazon to be able to start putting together so we can finish tightening up our bug out list. But I'm gonna tell you guys this right now. Remember that word bug out. So if you live anywhere where you think you don't want to be, if something was going to hit the fan, you're going to need to bug out and get out of there. All right. So you need to get you a bug out list. Hold on one minute, guys. Hold on again. Man, I hate this. How some mornings I get up, man, I'm fighting my sinuses. But let me kind of show you guys what my list is. Okay. So what I did was I went in, I got with my AI assistant, and I said, look, I want to create a bug out list for me and my family. So we have 4 adult bags, and this is what each person will be carrying in a sense, just to kind of give you guys of what this will look like. So each person will be carrying a backpack, all right, a sleeping bag or bivy sack, a Mylar emergency blanket, a headlamp, one of those things you can put on your heads and you can see it in the dark. 3 days of non-perishable food, 2 1 liter bottles of collapsible canteens of water, a hygiene kit, which is toothbrush, toothpaste, sanitizer, wipes, small personal first aid kit. So, like if you get injured, extra clothing, 2 changes, then socks and underwear, then a lightweight rain jacket in case it's raining, gloves, hat, and a pocket knife or a multi tool. Now, if you can imagine that, that would be for every adult or every person in my family. Okay. So that's that. So we got that list of that, right? Now, here is something that we will share as a group, as a unit, all right, that we'll need to get. Um, One is a family tent. So we already got those. Okay, a 4-person tent, paracord, 100-foot worth of paracord, tarp or emergency bivy, a portable stove and fuel, metal cook kit, mess kit, water filters. I got 2 of them on here. A solar hand crank radio, because if the electrical grid is down, or if you can't plug into anything, or you can't get batteries, you're gonna need to run off of solar. A lot of stuff that I've been buying has been solar. All right, a portable solar power bank. Now you can get the small ones, or you can get one like we have a Jackery. All right, and you can do that. And I have a generator on its way here also. All right, large family first aid kit, local maps and compass. Now with local maps, you can go printed maps, but one of the things that I'm showing people inside of our community is how to take a smartphone and turn it into a survival machine that includes all your maps that you need. And these maps work even if you don't have cellular service or electricity, because you charge your phones up using these solar power banks that I'm gonna show you guys how to get, and then you just turn your phone on and there's your maps and stuff on there. So yeah, so all your maps. Signal mirror and whistles, pepper spray, um, waterproof pouch with family documents and cash reserves. All right, because you guys got to remember, man, if SHTF, if something happens, there's a collapse or there's some type of major disruption, that doesn't mean that it's going to last forever. And for the time being, at the start, you're going to be able to still buy things with money. But depending on what's going on and how long it goes for, that's gonna determine if your fiat money is going to be any good after that. So one of the things I advise people, and guys, again, I'm not a financial expert or anything. I'm just sharing with you guys stuff for entertainment, personal, educational purposes. But one of the things you could do is you could stock up on things like, first of all, put a little money in Bitcoin. So that way, if the dollar falls and things like that, your Bitcoin is sitting. And so when things come back around, you could just liquidate your Bitcoin for cash again. You might want to start buying you some silver coins, some gold, and your gold don't even have to be gold coins. It could be scrap gold. It could be jewelry. You know, in the old days, I remember my cousins and stuff. They would wear gold jewelry, right? And they did that because they could flex the gold jewelry, but then the jewelry could always be sold for money. You could think like that. I know another thing that people are going to be bartering with could be things such as cigarettes. It could be aspirin, Motrins, because people want to have headaches. You guys follow what I'm saying? So you just have to think of things that people would want if society collapsed, and then that turns into your currency. Now, I even had my AI work on a bug out um, bag for my dog. So medium bag of dry dog food, 8 to 10 pounds, collapsible food and water bowls, leashes and harness, waste bags, vet records, and pet first aid kit. All right, so that's so now if you look at that, if you look at that, that gives us 3 days worth of supplies to get to a location, guys. If we had to bug out, now here's some tips and maintenance schedule that ChatGPT said. Rotate food and water medications every 6 months. Check batteries and headlamps, radios, and power banks twice a year. Keep total bag weight under 20 to 25% of body. Now, this is what you do to maintain your bug out bag if you don't have to use it. Adults carry heavier items, shelter, stove, water filter. Teens and kids carry lighter items, clothes, food, hygiene kits. Store bags in a cool, dry, and easy accessible location. Keep a go crate in your vehicle with 5 gallons of water, extra fuel, and tools. All right. Now, according to what ChatGPT created for a 4-person family and a dog, if you didn't have any of this, you're going to spend right around $2,100 on putting that together. Okay, so 500 per person. All right, I'm putting that gear together, which is an investment, but you're going to need it, right? I was trying to see if there's any. So like even like medical and hygiene, you're going to have small personal first aid kit. We talked about that each person's going to carry one of those. You're going to have a large family one. To any prescription meds that anybody takes, and hand sanitizers and wipe to go along with the hygiene. Okay. All right. So you guys get the drift. So if you're out there and you haven't thought about things like this, and you're looking at the world, you say, okay, well, this world seems yeah, kind of, kind of wild right now. Then what I'm gonna challenge you guys to do is I'm gonna challenge you to start thinking, all right, about plans and preparations. We live in a very volatile world, very volatile time. We as individuals, man, we need to take control of our finances. So if you're out there, you're working a job or something like that, and you haven't figured out a side hustle or some other kind of way to make some extra income, you need to be doing that. All right, you need to do it. That's just from a standpoint, period. Because remember, we're talking about preparedness and protecting our families. So you want to protect your families from any type of financial disruptions. So the best way to do that is to figure out how to create your own income streams and start building use of small income streams on the side. Now, when it comes to things such as the state of the world, the economy, the food, your shelter, things like that, guys, I'm prepping. I'm prepping. And I think everybody should be prepping. You should be putting up a certain amount of food that will last you if you couldn't get food from the store. That could be days, that could be months. It all depends on your budget. You also need to be putting up what you need to be able to survive if you had a major disruption in the grid. So we're talking about electricity, we're talking about gas for heat, or even food. If we couldn't get food no more, how would you survive? And then also, what about natural disasters such as earthquakes, things like that? Or what about something even crazier like war? You know, what if war broke out? Um, can your family survive? And how would your family survive? Could you protect your family? How would you protect your family? Okay. So things to think about. So as we move forward, guys, I'm gonna be talking to you guys about some of this. I'm gonna be sharing with you guys some products, some things like that. And you guys know, if you follow me, you know that I buy and sell, and I have a lot of things that I was reviewing from the TikTok Shop affiliate program. And I'm gonna be reviewing and showing you guys a lot of gear. All right. I'm gonna be showing you a lot of gear and things that you can go out there and get, or things that you can think about that would inspire you to go get something that's similar to that for you and your family. Like, to give you guys an idea, you guys know I got the Drift Slide e-bike. Okay, got that this past summer. I actually sell that. All right, so I'm an affiliate for that company, so I make money off of selling that e-bike. But right now, that e-bike and e-bikes in general are the go-to transportation choice for a lot of people that are prepping, are thinking about survival. Why? Because with that e-bike, you can go a distance. Like with mine, it goes 50 miles on a charge. I can go up to 30 miles an hour. And then if I was to go in and expand the limiter, I can get up to 40 miles hour, pretty fast. With that e-bike, it's quiet. It's not like a motorcycle or a car. You could drive down streets, you could drive between houses, you can go across fields, and you can even go off road with those e-bikes because they have the anti-puncture tires to them, and they're made for off road. And so it's a really good choice for preppers. And a lot of people are getting those e-bikes. You can camouflage, and like mine's is all black, but you can rock it like that, or you can put camouflage on it, and it just makes a lot of sense when it comes to a vehicle. And one of the things that I plan on doing with mine is because I'm planning on just doing like some practice drills with getting that thing into my pickup, going to a certain area, then dropping the e-bike down, and then doing some scenarios and some maneuvers and things like that. But you need to be thinking about that kind of stuff, man. And then also, it's really cool because it runs off of it could be charged off of solar. So like one of the things I'm gonna be showing you guys in the community, how you can go out and you can get you a solar setup for like $120. There's some portable solar panels that you can stand up on a thing, right? And they have like a little power bank that comes with it. And so you can charge up that e-bike by plugging that e-bike into that portable solar panel. So you never need electricity or anything like that. So let's say, for instance, SHTF situation happened. you're bunkered down, either your home or in your bug out location, and you need to move around. You don't want to move in your car because your car be so noticeable, or you can't get gas or anything like that. Then what you could do is you can charge that e-bike up at nighttime. So let your solar run throughout the day. All right. So your solar is collected throughout the day. Then at nighttime, you plug that e-bike in, all right? And then in daytime, you're able to take the e-bike and go out and do your runs and stuff like that. And then when you're not using your e-bike in the daytime, you can have it plugged to that solar. Because solar is so cool because as long as you have skyline and you have sun, you can charge that solar, all right? So very, very powerful, guys. So hopefully you guys got something for that, man. So going forward, man, we're not only going to be talking about, things that I used to talk about, like how to create content, how to monetize your content. Now we're going to be talking about just how to take and get prepared, man. Get prepared, get financially prepared. How not to be dependent on that job. All right. How to actually start building streams of income using content and social media. But then also how to start putting in place the preparations for things like we're talking about. We're going to be having gear reviews. I'm going to be sharing with you guys strategy, and that resource that I'm working on, that thumb drive with all that information on there, and that school group. I'm working on it, guys. I'm trying to get it done. And right now, I'm working on, I think, 4 different communities and products right now. So I am going to prioritize this one and kind of move this one to the top so we can go ahead and try to see if we can get this banged out, because I really think that this is needed in today's climate, in today's world. So I'm going to be working on getting this at least finished enough to where you guys can go ahead and order your thumb drives and get all that information, and then just put up the basics of the community, and then just add to the community as we go. All right. Orville J. Parker, aka Coach. Again, guys, if you're trying to figure out a way to monetize your content, then check out the link below at learndigitaltoday.com. Go in there, man. Learn how to create content. Learn how to leverage social media. Learn how to create products similar to what I'm doing. And then also, guys, we've built a business in a box with that training platform. So you go over there, you get trained, you get access to our 58,000 person community where you can talk to on a day-by-day basis. You can ask questions, you can get support, you can build accountability partners there, and you get access to training 5 days out of the week inside of that community. But then you also can turn around, refer people to that platform and community. And every time somebody decides to sign up, you make a $900 commission. Now, if you're thinking about prepping, you think about starting to get things that you need to be able to survive in case SHTF happens, then you could take the money that you make marketing that platform and that community and apply that right into your preps. All right. Orville J. Parker, aka Coach. I'll catch you guys on the next video. God bless.